Hello, America. It's Bianca, GOP girl with Clean TV Live. Anyone watching this, I implore you to share this with anyone you know who knows anyone that has been hit by Hurricane Harvey. If you have a relative, anyone, because as an Andrew victim, Hurricane Andrew in Miami, Florida, where winds topped 285 miles per hour, I know very well the effects of hurricanes. And I'm going to give people some tips that mainstream media won't tell you. I've seen a lot on the news about politics. I've seen a lot about showing the people suffering in Houston. But no one is sharing anything to aid these people in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. Number one, I've watched a lot of people starting to throw things out. Don't throw anything out. I know you may have taken pictures and people may think taking pictures is enough. You'd be surprised. When you start dealing with the insurance companies don't even start to think that, oh, they'll have compassion. No. I'm sorry, but insurance companies do not want to pay. That's the bottom line. There may be some good ones, but the bottom line is these insurance companies are going to fight you tooth and nail. So for everyone that's already starting to throw things out that has been affected by Harvey, get it back into your home or outside of your home. You need to save everything. My mother had a pile of shoes that was about 3 feet high, filling our living room, and she saved it. Why? Because she had to. And she was advised by an adjuster who was a relative. We were lucky enough to have a relative in town for the hurricane that was an adjuster for another insurance company that advised my mother to not throw anything away and to take lots of pictures. You can't take enough pictures, and do not throw anything away until the adjusters have seen and have filmed what you have lost. Next, I already spoke about the mold issue. When you get inside your homes, if you have carpeting, you want to get that carpeting out. But you also need to save it, or at least show in your homes that you have the wood, the way they put the carpeting down. You need to be able to prove, yes, believe it or not, you need to be able to prove that you had carpeting in your home. You've got to get it out because the mold is going to breed like wildfire. And if you think I'm kidding about saving everything, we had an adjuster from an insurance company, and the adjuster asked my mother, this was my parents' home, asked my mother what she did with the other sliding glass door. There was a set of about 6 sliders that went across the family room. And the way we had designed our shutter system was the shutters were in front of the sliding glass doors so that we could have an enclosed patio area. Well, my mother looked at the adjuster and said, "What do you mean? What did we do with it?" And he was trying to pull the sliding glass door. And he said, "Well, where's the other door? Where's the other French glass door?" And my mom looked at him and said, "It wasn't a French glass door. It was a slider. I don't know. Could be in Georgia by now. How do I know?" This is the ridiculousness that you're going to have to deal with, okay? Yes, they're going to look at you and say, "Where's the door?" And you're going to look at them and say, "I don't know. Maybe it's in California." These adjusters are paid to scrimp. These adjusters are paid to not pay you. And I know you've been through a tragedy. I know you've been through hell. I know I've been through it. But you need to get ready for everything and everyone that is going to try to take advantage of you after the storm. The aftermath is 1,000 times worse than the storm. Next, you're going to have contractors come in from out of town. Yes, you see, you're going to have a lot of people come in from out of town that are going to come in to take advantage of the situation. While there will be many do-gooders, there are also going to be people that are going to be scam artists. However, my parents ended up falling victim to not only an out-of-town builder, but an in-town, actually very popular builder. What they do is they know you have insurance money. They know you have additional living expenses. They know the insurance company has given you, say, X amount of dollars to start the rebuilding of your home. So what these builders do is they will ask you for a deposit. It'll be maybe $10,000, maybe it'll be $50,000, more like $50,000. They will take your $50,000 deposit and they will go down your street and they will try to get as many people to sign up with them as possible, and then they will leave town. Yes, and don't think they won't do it, because they will do it. Unfortunately, we had one contractor from out of town. We had a couple from in town. One was high up in the city and had about 100 different companies that he went by different names of and different licenses. So it's very difficult to go after these people as far as getting any money back. And you know what the insurance company will say to you when you say, oh, the contractor went off with my money? They're going to say, we don't care. We gave you the money. It's up to you to find a contractor that can do the job. It's up to you to find a licensed contractor. Make sure you find a licensed contractor. But you're also going to have insurance companies that are going to want you to use their builders. Watch out. The insurance companies are going to want you to use their suggested builders because they're going to want to save money. And their suggested builders aren't necessarily going to do all of the necessary repairs. Yes, my parents fell prey to that as well. We had one builder, and this is where you have to be careful. When you rebuild your home, you have to comply with the building code upgrades. And in Miami, Florida, the tie beams, the steel was supposed to be every 2 to 3 feet apart. Well, my mother was smart. She hired an engineer, a building inspector, also an engineer, and he was suspicious about the work being done. That's another thing. Get a building inspector. Get a building inspector to inspect the work that you have done. And what they did was they had the steel 7, 8, 10 feet. My mother had to pay a fairly large sum of money in order to have them take pictures. They had to take an x-ray and it took pictures to find out that the steel was not every 2 to 3 feet. My parents' home had their roof taken off, I think 2 or 3 times. Yes, it went on, it was wrong, it came off. It went on, it was wrong, it came off. This is the thing. The insurance company, they don't care about that. They don't care that you were scammed. They won't pay for it. The insurance companies are not going to want to pay for all of the damages you have incurred. Read your policy carefully. You need to, like I said, you need to take pictures, as many pictures as possible. Your insurance companies are going to try to keep you, try to make you keep everything in your home humanly possible. They will try to possibly make you not even gut the house. As I said in the previous video, you literally can probably punch your hand through your wall because already the mold is behind your walls. This is extremely, extremely important. If you have pictures that have gotten wet, you need to separate them. You need to, if you have pictures that are dry, you need to get anything that's dry, pack it up as quickly as possible so that you can separate the good stuff from the bad stuff. you need to get a rental or a lease as soon as possible. It's not going to be safe to live in your homes. Even if your insurance company tries to talk you into staying in your homes, it's not going to be physically, it's not going to be safe. It's not going to be safe because you're not going to be able to breathe with the mold spores in the air and the mildew. I'm telling you, I know this, and I know this may seem trivial, and you may think that I'm paranoid, but I'm not. I've been through it. I've seen people scammed. My parents have been scammed. You are going to have every scam artist known to the United States of America and from further away. Everyone is going to come and they are going to try and take advantage of you. I already said to cut out the carpet. As far as food, until you can get a rental or a lease, until you can move out, don't go to the supermarket if there's one that's open. You don't want to go to the supermarket and buy fruit and buy soda. No, you don't have any power. You probably will likely not have power for the next year. My parents' neighborhood was a half a mile from the ocean. We didn't have power until 3 years later, 2 or 3 years later. And many of the homes did not have power. People that did not have problems with their insurance companies, many of those homes did not have power for over a year. So buy food, crackers, bread, buy stuff that will not spoil, okay? Looters, they're going to be out, and they're going to come in all different shapes and sizes and professions. In our neighborhood, there was a doctor, a lawyer, and a veterinarian that were looting the homes at the end of the street on the ocean. And the police officers let them go because they figured that they were basically good people. Well, no, they're not good people. They're not good people if they're taking advantage of a situation such as a natural disaster. Next, you're not going to like hearing this, but your lives will never be the same. The night of Andrew. Sorry, guys. The night of Hurricane Andrew, we were staying at a friend's home. We were lucky enough to have a city that advised us to get out of our home. We were in an evacuation area. Mayor Sylvester Turner, Democrat, that didn't tell these people to evacuate. I don't know what he's thinking. He was a moron, especially after New Orleans. But we were lucky enough to stay with friends. And I'll never forget Brian Norcross the night of Hurricane Andrew. He said, I hate to say it, but he said, people's lives are never going to be the same after tonight. There will be divorces. There will be suicides. There will be complete devastation to people's lives. And he was right. Yes, there were suicides. People have lost everything. And there will be divorces. Because obviously, when you are dealing with stress on a daily basis, trying to get money out of your insurance company and fighting every single day of your life until you get the money, which my parents did not. I won't name the insurance company, but my parents lost a lawsuit. They were one of the last cases in Miami, Florida to be settled. And I'm not a racist, but it was an all-black jury. And they don't know that we're not racist. They just see a white family. But my parents lost. And so no, your lives will never be the same. And you know, I watch on the news, and for mainstream media, you know, CNN stuck a microphone in a person's face, and the woman said, you know, we've lost everything, and she really gave it to the CNN reporter, and you know, it was just like, go away. Obviously, when someone has lost everything they have, they don't need a camera and a microphone in their face. And I have to say, when we got back to the house and saw our house destroyed, we did have shutters, we had walls, but we had holes in our roof. The whole place was blown to smithereens. Inside, windows were blown. But for mainstream media, you know what? It's just a story today. In fact, tonight, I saw some people barely even covering it because it doesn't affect them. It's a story for the moment. So yes, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, they're all going to cover it while it's still exciting. They're going to cover it. Yes, I'll never forget that song. You know, that song that was, oh, the bubble-headed bleach blonde with a gleam in her eye, and there was a plane crash or something. She'll talk about the plane crash and people dying. And as sick as it sounds, it's true. Mainstream media loves this. I know some of them care, some of them are compassionate, but they're only going to report on it now. They're going to report on it now because now it's interesting to them. But to some people, it's not even that interesting anymore. We have people that have died, 30 people in Guyana. Actually, no, I think it's 26 people in Houston, and 20 people died in Guyana. And for these people, it's over. And for the thousands of people affected by Hurricane Harvey, it is going to affect them for the rest of their lives. For the people that stayed in their homes, they are shell-shocked. We were lucky enough to evacuate, and when we went to rent a car, because my car was destroyed, my car actually, it ended up being picked up, dropped at the end of the driveway. We had we were set up from the house. It went at the end of the driveway. It was literally picked up, dropped, and a huge ficus tree, probably about 7 feet, 8 feet wide, and about 50 feet high. That huge ficus tree was uprooted and dumped on my car. These are the type of things that happen. When we went to rent a car, there was a woman that was with her husband, and the husband was very talkative, and he was saying that they lived in Country Walk or Homestead, and another area that was hard hit. And he said, my wife can't even talk. She's completely in shock. He said, when the winds got to their worst, he said it literally sounded like a train was going through our home. And you know, that's why right now I have no respect for any of the news media outlets, because no one's giving people this information. No one's giving people helpful information on what they're going to have to deal with after the storm. Because fact of the matter is, it's not interesting. It's not a real story. Well, it is a real story. There are people who are suffering. There are animals who are suffering. And for those of you who, obviously, people are donating to the Red Cross, but the four-legged furry friends that have been affected by this terrible storm, displaced, you can donate to the Houston SPCA.org. Houston SPCA.org. And you have animals that were literally ripped out of people's arms. animals that people couldn't hold on to in the flooding waters, animals that were left by their owners because their owners didn't care. They cared more about themselves. Horses, livestock, you name it. So please, not only donate to Red Cross and donate to your local charities that are raising money and donating food, clothing, and other items, but please, Houston SPCA.org. Please donate to them as well. Next, I would just like to say that the president needs to be applauded on doing an excellent job of handling Hurricane Harvey. He's gotten some criticism, much criticism by other news media outlets, and he released the money, or he released funds and got to work on it ASAP. And obviously having the president arrive on Tuesday, yesterday, and the First Lady was uplifting to the victims who have been through the worst times in their lives. The First Lady and her heels, who cares? I just have to say, who cares what the First Lady wears on her feet? She was there. More than we can say for Obama and Michelle Obama last year when Louisiana was hit. He didn't show up for what, a week, or was it 2 weeks? Really, by the time, it didn't matter. I have to say, even the people sort of looked at Obama like, well, what does it matter now? You're, too little, too late. The president and the First Lady showed up, and in defense of the First Lady wearing heels, first of all, she arrived, I think, wearing sneakers, and she ended up wearing heels. For women that wear heels all the time, you know what? Heels are more comfortable to them, surprisingly enough, than flats or sneakers. For myself, I've had Achilles tendon injuries, and you know what? I'm actually better off wearing heels. But because I'm in tennis sneakers a lot, it's not really that, they're not comfortable to me. So I don't care what the First Lady wore on her feet. That is the last thing I care about. What I care about are the people of Houston and the surrounding areas that have been affected and that will be affected for quite some time from this natural disaster, dumping more rain than any other storm in the United States history. That's it. I think I've said about, yes, definitely with your insurance companies, document everything, write everything down, get everything in writing, get everything in writing. And if they say something's not covered, look for it in your policy because they will try not to cover it. And if you don't think they won't, you're wrong. You've seen the devastation. They're going to try to get out of this as cheaply as they possibly can. If you think health insurance companies are bad, oh, you'll meet a new kind of evil, a special evil with insurance companies. Because when you have lost everything and your home is in shambles, they try to stick it to you every which way they can. Thank you for watching. My hearts and prayers go out to everyone affected in the storm, people that have family members, and if there's any way you can all help, donate to the Red Cross, donate to the Houston SPCA.org. Obviously, they would appreciate it. And the other thing I want to ask everyone to do is to share this video because no one's spoken about these things. And these people need to know the worst. And lastly, the looters, you need your guns. I saw a story, I just thought of this, I'm sorry. There was a woman that was shot by a looter. So I know Texans love their guns, so definitely have your guns and be prepared. This is Bianca, GOP girl with Clean TV Live. And again, my heart and prayers go out to the victims of Hurricane Harvey. Have a nice night, everyone, and share this video. Bye-bye.